Welcome back. The suffering of the Indian people in the country's second wave of COVID 19 is a human tragedy on a vast scale. It is also a warning and a danger for the whole world, not for India specifically alone. Many nations have been through many dark times in the global pandemic, several with smaller population but with higher death tolls. But with reports of people dying in the streets outside overwhelmed hospitals is a grim reminder. It's a grim reminder to the world that the worst case scenarios that were painted at the time this virus was identified almost 16 months back have come to fruition. It is also a warning to the world not to bask in self glory. Many parts of the world, having gone through the second wave, are now beginning to open up. United States almost about to open up in a big way. United Kingdom around June 23rd, we're having bars, restaurants, and completely coming out of its lockdown conditions. Yet the Indian tragedy is a lesson for the world in general. It is a warning to the world against thinking that a virus is beaten when the cases slow down. In some ways, the Indian government was premature in declaring victory over the coronavirus as early as in February, and hopes that India was nearing herd immunity and it was able to do it so effectively was resounding all over the world until this new second wave of coronavirus hit India in a very, very bad way. While China succeeded in containing its initial outbreak, India's experience brutally reinforces that of many other nations. Without mass vaccinations, COVID can quickly come roaring back even if it seems to be petering out. The risk for the rest of the world is that the larger the pool of infections globally, the greater the risk of mutations creating more contagious or vaccine resistant variants. A worrying double mutant strain first identified in India has since now been found in several other countries. One case has recently also been identified in Michigan, Detroit. So we have some identifications already uh, in the United States and in many other countries also, as even as we are talking at this point of time. In the global struggle against the virus, the chain of humanity is only as strong as its weakest link. I repeat, in the global struggle against the coronavirus, the chain of humanity is only as strong as its weakest link. This is the reason that India matters immensely to the world. That makes aid from others not just a moral imperative, but a matter of self interest. The United States, UK, and the European Union have pledged emergency supplies, including oxygen and ventilators, to India. The United States on Sunday belatedly bowed to pressure to ease export controls and supply raw materials for vaccines. Of course, this will help India to begin stepping up its inoculations, but the country that is home to the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, the Serum Institute of India, is lagging far behind where it could be, with less than 10% of the citizens having had a first dose. Figures go as low as 5%. The Indian government in its initial stages had pursued export orders, boasting that the AstraZeneca jab licensed to the Serum Institute and a domestically developed product, the Covaxin, would rescue others. The Indian authorities later halted some export of vaccines from the Serum Institute which will have knock-on effects on supplies to other countries. That's why the resurgence or the second wave in India is going to have an impact across the world. The government last week also authorized import of vaccines approved by credible agencies elsewhere, dropping an insistence on holding Indian trials, and it made funds available to boost domestic production. But it has come under fire for giving domestic manufacturers permission to raise their prices for jabs that will be procured by states and private entities for under 45. Vaccines are still at best a long-term solution. Bringing today's runaway infections under control will require the government of India to act very rapidly. That means clear messaging to Indians and enforcement of restrictions. While full-scale lockdowns are challenging in a country with high levels of urban poverty and itinerant workers, social distancing must be observed, big gatherings should be banned, including religious events and weddings. The big fat Indian wedding ban. Like populists elsewhere, the government will be reluctant to take actions that might imply his government's earlier mistakes fuel today's outbreak. Yet, until that is not done, you will see the wave not yet coming under control. And that's the sad lesson that we can learn. The funeral pyres that we see on CNN, on various other electronic media, will continue to be lit until and unless this is fought on a war footing. It is imperative not only for the country to tackle this on a war footing, but also for the rest of the world to come up to rise to the occasion to fight this humanitarian disaster, because it is in their self-interest as well. Not only political links, but economic interests of various Western powers make it imperative that they come to the rescue of the country. And as I had just mentioned, it's not only a moral imperative. And do not forget the fact, before I conclude, the larger the pool of infections globally, the greater the risk of mutations, creating more contagious or vaccine-resistant vaccines, variants. So you will keep finding that vaccine-resistant variants of this coronavirus will keep happening and making its presence in many parts of the world until and unless this variant that has emerged, a double mutation in India, is tackled on a war footing. Friends, if you'd like to be a part of my Telegram channel to know where the world is headed in this COVID crisis era, please do get in touch with us. You can email me at globalmoneyinvestor@gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp me at 0982 086 1044. Take care. Bye-bye.